Hi everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Thank you for taking time to to just stream into our broadcast today. Thank you so much for your continued support. We trust that this content is edifying you, entertaining you, and even being able to build yourself. This wonderful afternoon, morning, evening. We have a new video, and kama kawaida, you get to introduce the video.
Yes, our new video is on growing in your purpose.
Yes, growing in your purpose. Yeah. Because in our last video, we were discussing about discovering your purpose. And we said that the purpose, as God puts it, is the original intention for creation of a person. Yeah. Because God did not create you during his pastime. Or he didn't create you to occupy space on the earth. He created you for a particular purpose, for a particular intention, and for a particular objective. Yeah. And so you are here on earth to fulfill a purpose which only you can be able to fulfill in the will and plan of God. So it is not just important for you to discover your purpose, because had it just been about discovery, you'll then just discover it and die. Yeah. But it is important when you discover your purpose. In fact, discovering is the first part of the whole discussion. But growing in that purpose is the more important part. How do you now optimize this thing that God has created you to do, so that one, it's a benefit to humanity, and two, you can live off it, because your provision is tied to your purpose. Sure. So your sustenance, your daily bread is tied in your purpose. The minute you are able to discover your purpose, you are able to find the source for your daily bread. But as long as you have not tied down it to your purpose, you are going to live off what we call breadcrumbs. And unfortunately, for the longest time, that's what a salary is. It is just a motivation or a bribe to get you to show up to the job every day. But your actual provision is tied in your purpose. So the minute you discover your purpose, you begin the journey towards your provision. But at discovery, it can never provide. So it is very many people know their purpose, but how many of them are living of that purpose? It is only those that have been able to refine it, those that have been able to work on it, those that have been diligent in working on their purpose, that today make a living out of their purpose. Sure. And I want to give an example of a guy who recently passed. He's called Chadwick Boseman. He's a person who was the lead character in the famous movie, what do you call it? Black Panther, Wakanda. Yes, Wakanda forever. Yes, and you when you study the history of Chadwick, he's called Chadwick Boseman, you will notice that he's been able to work on his craft, so that now he's a lead in the Hollywood. How many of actors do we have there that have not made it to Hollywood? So many of them. But it is a few that have been diligent in pursuing their purpose that have found a place in the top de la creme, in the creme de la creme. So the top belongs to very few. And for you to get to the very top, you must be diligent. You must be faithful. You must put in the time. You must put in the resources. You must take the sacrifices that are required to be taken for you to get there. A case in point, you may not know, but we are shooting this video 8 p.m. at the night. Yes, like literally minutes to the curfew. And the person who's shooting this video needs to go home to his family, because there is an effort, there is a sacrifice that goes to your purpose. Sure. And so today we want to ask ourselves, what are these things that will set you apart from the rest of the pack? What are these things that are going to transform you from just being another person out there to being distinguished? Because somebody said that the worst thing you can do is to serve your gift raw. What do I mean? Like, for instance, you are a worship leader, but you don't put in any time to your worship ministry. You just show up every Sunday to just repeat the same songs you sang Sunday upon Sunday. I want to tell you the truth. The first Sunday we may be impressed, because in as much as we are spiritual, we are still looking at your means of presentation. The first Sunday we may be impressed. The second one, yes. By the time we are coming to the third one, we've already gotten used. We know how you start and how you end. But it is only a person that is diligent in growing their craft that has a space in the top of the club. It is a person that wants to serve something different every single Sunday. It is a person that we are looking forward to hearing them minister, to hearing them perform, to hearing them deliver. It is the only people that will have a place in the top of the pack. And so therefore, you cannot afford to serve your gift the same way every single day. You must be working on your gift. Because, let me put this way, the top does not belong to gifted people. It belongs to skillful people. Let me repeat that again. It does not belong to gifted people. It belongs to skillful people. And I want to read a Bible verse in the book of Psalms 22, verses number 29, because it's going to be our lead verse even as we discuss this topic. The Bible says, okay, read for me. What are you doing? Read for me.
Do you see a man who excels in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before unknown men.
Yes, the Bible says, another translation, this is NIV. King James says that, do you see a man who excels? What is the Bible speaking about? It is not just a man who does anything. It is a man that has excellence. A man that his work stands out. What does the Bible say? If this man excels, he will not serve before unknown men. He will not serve before wananchi wa kawaida. He will serve before who? Kings. If you desire to serve before kings, then excellence has to be your portion. Excellence has to be your everyday activity. You cannot be a mediocre, you cannot be an average person and expect to find a place before kings.
Sure.
What is going to distinguish you, what is going to make you stand before kings is excellence. The Bible says that one man's gift will open the door for him and set him before kings. So the gift will open the door, but the excellence will give you an audience with the king. The gift is there and it's good. It's going to usher you into spaces. But for you to sustain in that space, for you to excel, for you to flourish in that space, you must pursue excellence. So, what are these practical things that you need to do for you to pursue excellence? The first thing you need is to put in time. You must put in time into your gift, into your purpose. What do I mean by time? There is a difference between being patient and putting in time. Somebody said that that wisdom does not come with age. There are some foolish old people.
Sure.
So you cannot say that putting in time, that being patient is equivalent to putting in time. I want to give the example of Elon Musk. He's the CEO of Tesla. He says that aspire to do something in 6 months that people have done in 10 years. Obviously, you are going to fail. If you try to do something in 6 months that people have tried to do in 10 years. But at the end of the 6 months, you will most probably have done what they did in 5 years. So in as much as you will have failed, you will have achieved more in the 6 months than they achieved in 5 years. So you need to put in time. You need to put in effort. T.D. Jakes gave a very good example. He said that on average, it requires 10,000 hours for you to perfect in a skill. For you to become an expert in a field, for you to become an expert in a discipline, you need how many hours? 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours on average translates to about 10 years. So between mediocrity and professionalism, how much time is required?
10 years, 10,000 hours.
10,000 hours. So for you to become an expert, please, you need to assess how many hours have you put in. 2 hours, you are still an amateur. 4 hours, you're not even close. Because what we see is people start something, they do it for a few months, and all of a sudden wameanza kiburi. Unaanza hapa kutusumbua au tupatie amani. My friend, you've not even started. 10,000 hours. Calligraph Jones, Papa Jones, because I'm going to give example with secular people. I read one of his interviews. He had written 1,400 songs before he wrote the song Yego, the famous song. I want you to imagine 1,400 songs, and in those 14, one made it. Na wewe hapa umerecord ka video kamoja unatusumbua huku utupatie amani. For you to perfect your skill, you need to put in time. Time is what separates boys from men. Time is what separates amateurs from professionals. You cannot be sleeping 10 hours and still expect to make it. I was reading the working culture of Elon Musk, and he works for 20 hours a day, for 7 days a week. Yes. 20 hours a day for 7 days a week.
So he sleeps for 4 hours?
No, he has everything. He's bathing and everything else happens in 4 hours.
Okay.
So 20 hours are spent working. It's not to mean that he's literally working, but even when he's in his sleep, he's still thinking about work. That's how you separate boys from men. The second point. So the first point is putting time. The second point is discipline. Discipline. Discipline comes from a Hebrew word that is called katatizo. Can you say katatizo?
Katatizo.
And the rendering or the meaning of the word katatizo is right ordering and arrangement. Right ordering and arrangement. What does this mean? For you to become an expert in your field, you must learn how to do things in right ordering and arrangement. What does this mean? You need to do it over and over and over and over again until you can do it in your sleep. Like if somebody just woke you up and told you, do what you do. You do it. For instance, right now, my producer, if he was to call me and tell me to shoot a video, I will start recording immediately without even having to rehearse.
For me, I'll have to rehearse.
For you, you'll have to rehearse, and I'll have to beg you to even show up on the yeah? So it means you have to do it until you can do it in your sleep. In your sleep means even if somebody was, when you are sleeping, you are subconscious. But you can still do it perfectly. Discipline. Discipline is showing up even when you don't feel like it. Yeah. And the same discipline you need in work is the same discipline you need in prayer. Somebody gave an example. Maombi ni ngumu. So if you waited for you to pray when you're in the mood, you will pray once a year. Or never. But discipline is the one that is going to make you show up in the prayer closet. Even when you feel sleepy, even when it's raining like it is doing right now. Discipline is the one that is going to make you show up in the workshop every single day. Discipline is the one that is going to make you turn up for that attachment when you are not being paid even a cent. Discipline separates people who are serious with their purpose from people who are trying it out. How disciplined are you in your craft? Will you do it if there was no money? Will you do it if it cost you something? There's a difference between there was no money and it cost you something. Discipline is what is going to separate you. And do you know what the Bible says? I'm going to get you that Bible verse and then we are going to proceed. It's in the book of Ecclesiastes. This is the most difficult word to pronounce. The book pronounce it? Ecclesiastes, chapter number 11, verses number 6. The Bible says, read for me.
The Bible says, in the morning sow your seed, and in the evening do not withhold your hand. For you do not know which will prosper, either this or that, or whether both alike will be good.
The Bible is clearly saying that. Sow your seed in the morning, but in the evening, do not withhold your hand. This is to mean you really don't know which is going to make it. And what I have learned in my professional life is that it requires more than the standard procedures and processes for you to make it. Is going to require much more. For instance, if I want to move this Bible, the kawaida way would to be carrying it and nicely put it the next place. But in the real world, you are probably going to require to lift from this direction, lift from this other direction, lift it from below for you to get it to move. Therefore, you cannot settle at what is good enough. You have to go the extra mile. That's why the Bible is telling you, sow your seed in the morning. Because every farmer sows in the morning.
And I also understand that when the Bible says that do not withhold your hand when evening comes, it means that even when you're tired, you'll have to do it. Because most of the time when maybe you have gone to work, you've come home in the evening, you just feel tired, you want to rest. But the Bible says that even in the evening, do not withhold your hand. So you have to keep on working until it works.
Yes, you work it until it works. That is the only way. You work it and work it and work it until it works. The last point for today is what is called perseverance.
Patience.
Are they the same thing?
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Perseverance. If you are really going to make anything of your life, you have to persevere through the process of time. Because what does it mean? If you are focused and serious about where you want to be in the future, you have to endure the pain, the suffering, the travail that comes with the present as you work on your future.
Sure.
The problem with our generation today, I have to say, is that we live in a generation that is obsessed with instantaneous gratification.
Everything pop.
Yes, pap. You want to marry today and drive today and own a home today and everything today. The only problem with this is that that thing that comes easy is also lost easy. T.D. Jakes says this. I love T.D. Jakes personally. He says that anything worth building requires time. So this is to mean, if you are building anything worth the while, you have to endure the process of time. Today you will be laughed at. Today you will be ridiculed. In fact, some of the people had us starting a vlog and they're like, in fact, somebody who's close to me told me, now what can you tell us? What do you know? But you have to endure that frustration. You have to endure that ridicule. You have to endure people just not seeing the sense in what you're doing. Because it is you who had God, not them. In fact, I think that is the biggest lesson you need to understand. When do you ulisikia Mungu sio wao? When Noah was building the ark, they had never rained even once. When Noah was building, so they were like, there's going to be rain. And it's
from above.
Yes. But you have to endure. Wakuchekele, wakuenjoy, wakwambia wewe ujielewi. But because you had God, you endure through the process. So, those are our 3 points. 1, put in time. 2, be disciplined. 3, persevere. If you do those 3 things, I assure you, you're gonna excel in your purpose. May God bless you. May God be with you. Till the next broadcast.
Bye.